If you've been feeling reactive lately, snapping faster, tearing up easier, or shutting down, and then feeling guilty about it, nothing is wrong with you. Your system is overloaded. If you're fine all day and then fall apart at home, this is for you. In this video, I'm going to show you why this happens, a 2-minute self-check, and 4 resets you can use immediately. I'm Christina, coach and longtime social worker, and I help high capacity professionals stop burnout and people pleasing from quietly stealing their joy. A quick permission slip today. Emotional regulation is not about being calm 24/7. It's about noticing what you feel, understanding what that's trying to tell you, and choosing what you do next. So if your brain has been doing that thing where it's like, could we please just be chill today? And your nervous system is like, absolutely not. You're in the right place. We're going to replace what's wrong with me with a much more useful question. What does my system need right now? Most people don't come to me saying, I need emotional regulation skills. They come to me saying things like, I don't recognize myself lately. I'm fine at work and I fall apart at home. I'm always bracing for the next big thing. I feel guilty after I react and I don't know how to stop myself. And that guilt piece really matters because when you're reactive, you're not only dealing with the emotion, you're dealing with the aftershocks, the self-judgment, replaying that moment over and over in your head, apologizing, over explaining, and promising to do better, and quietly wondering if you're becoming someone you don't want to be. Let's name what reactive can look like in real life. At work, you see a Slack or a Teams message pop up and your body reacts before your brain even reads it. Feedback, even gentle, lands like a threat. You're either overperforming and doing the absolute most or avoiding and doing the absolute least. At home, you walk in the door and the sound of someone needing something makes you want to hide in the pantry. You snap about dishes, shoes on the floor, noise, questions, and then you feel awful. You go numb until you explode. If any of this is you, this isn't a character flaw. It's often a nervous system that's been in survival mode for too long. If you've been thinking, why does this feel so hard lately? Here's the reality. You're not alone. When stress is chronic, your brain gets better at scanning for threats than noticing joy. Your body starts in a state of readiness. So your emotional reactions become faster, bigger, and harder to interrupt. And this isn't rare. In the American Psychological Association's 2023 Work in America survey, 77% of workers reported experiencing work-related stress in the last month. Only 29% said their workplace offers a culture where managers encourage employees to take care of their mental health. So if you're feeling like your fuse is shorter than it used to be, that totally makes sense. Now here's the part that trips up a lot of high capacity people. You can hold it together all day. Be professional, competent, helpful, and pleasant. And then your nervous system finally releases the pressure when you're in a safer space. This is where at home, that stress shows up and sometimes blows up. I'm going to read a few statements. Don't overthink this. Just notice what hits for you. At home, I feel overstimulated quickly. Noises, questions, mess, and touch just trigger me. I'm more impatient with the people I love than I want to be. I feel guilty after I react, and I don't know how to stop it. I don't ever feel like I can truly turn off. I'm physically at home, but mentally I'm still at work. Or at work, you might think, I feel tense even before I open my laptop. Feedback, even gentle feedback, feels personal or threatening. You struggle to focus because your mind is racing. You're either overperforming or you're avoiding. You feel like you're always behind, even when you're working hard. If you're nodding along, your next step isn't to try harder. It's learning what your system needs and identifying what's driving that pattern. Let me share a story about a composite client. The details are changed, but the pattern is a real pattern I see in my clients. Let's call her Gabby. She's capable, respected. She's mid-career, high performer. The person everyone counts on. From the outside, she looks like she's doing great. At work, she was fine until she wasn't. A last-minute request would hit her. Her chest would tighten and she would either overfunction, basically doing it all and resenting everyone, or shut down, avoiding, procrastinating, and dreading that deadline. Then she'd come home and have zero capacity left for anybody. She'd snap at her partner over dishes. She'd feel instantly irritated when her kids asked her normal kid questions. And then she'd spiral into guilt. Why am I like this? What's wrong with me? When we slowed down, we found out it wasn't a lack of willpower. It was a pattern, chronic stress and people pleasing, no real recovery time, and a nervous system that never got to come down. Once she could name her main happiness thief, she stopped treating all the symptoms like a personal failure and started using targeted interventions that actually worked for her. If this is hitting, grab my free happiness thief self-assessment. The link is in the description, so like Gabby, you can name your pattern that's stealing your joy. Okay, let's get practical. These are not meant to be one more thing on your to-do list. Think of them as small, repeatable interrupts that create space between that feeling and your automatic reaction. Interrupt 1, label the emotion. Try this. I'm noticing irritation. I'm noticing overwhelm. I'm noticing shame. At work, before you hit that email, label what you're feeling. At home, before you respond to that question or the 12th question, label what's there. This helps because labeling pulls your brain out of that reflexive threat response and into meaning making. Interrupt 2, take a longer exhale. If you're feeling reactive, try this first. Put both feet on the floor. Inhale for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6. And repeat that 5 times. At work, you might try this right before a meeting, right after a tense call, or before you hit send on that email. At home, you might try this when you walk in the door, or when you feel yourself escalating, getting angrier and angrier. This helps because that longer exhale cues your nervous system to downshift, slow down. Interrupt 3, reduce your inputs before you can analyze anything. So before you try to figure it out, lower your stimulation. You can drink water, have a snack with protein, step outside for 2 minutes, or silence your notifications for 30. If you're underfueled and overstimulated, your brain will interpret everything as an emergency and a crisis. This helps you regulate because regulation is harder when your body is undersourced. So you're identifying what it needs and giving it that before you start responding. Interrupt 4. Ask one better question. Instead of asking what's wrong with me, try what am I protecting? What do I need right now? What boundary is being violated? At work, this question might be, what expectation am I carrying that is not realistic? At home, this question might be, what do I need to transition my work brain to my home brain? This helps because it shifts you from self-blame into self-leadership. A mini challenge for the next 7 days, pick one of these interrupts and practice it once a day. Not perfectly, just consistency. Your goal is space, not perfection. If you've been feeling reactive, I want you to remember this. It's a signal, not a life sentence. And clarity changes everything. When you can identify your main happiness thief, your pattern that's draining your joy, you can stop guessing and start using tools that actually fit you and your needs. So if you want clarity, take my free Happiness Thief self-assessment. The link is in the description. And keep this interactive with me. Drop a comment with one word for what you're noticing lately. Could be overwhelmed, irritable, numb, anxious, tired, whatever is true. No fixing, just noticing. Thank you so much for being here. If this helped, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been holding it together for everyone else for far too long.